Hi everyone, my name is Beth with Bodies by Pilates. Today I'm going to take you through a 50-minute mat Pilates class. I'm going to use a couple of props today. You don't have to use them, but they would create just a different experience for you. The first one I'm going to use is a pinky ball. It's actually a Pilates balanced body pinky ball. Other balls that work perfect for this would be a tennis ball. So this one has a little bit more give than a tennis ball, but a tennis ball is perfect too. Or even a lacrosse ball works really well. And then I'm going to use my Pilates ball. So if you don't have a Pilates ball, this is, I think, an 8-inch Pilates ball. If you do not have it, you can always use a rolled up bath towel, or you can use a small a pillow as well, will work. So we'll come to that in a second. Hopefully it doesn't roll away from me. But we're going to start with the pinky ball. So every day in my own practice, I work on my feet. So our feet take so much pressure. So we're just going to start by working through the bottoms of the feet. So I'm going to start by just placing my toes on the pinky ball and rolling it side to side. So we lose a lot of flexion in our feet. And as we age, we also lose the fascia at the bottom of the foot. So I'm sure if you are a runner or have done a lot of sports, you might have experienced plantar fasciitis. Now I'm just rolling it through the arch of my foot. So over the ball of my foot and then through the arch of my foot. I'm trying to apply some pressure as well. So it's kind of a good hurt, I guess you could explain it. But I'm trying to be a little bit more intense on the bottom of the foot to break up the fascia. And so what I was getting at is if you have played sports or have been really active before and you've gotten plantar fasciitis, you know that it is extremely painful. And really it starts from the bottom of your foot. So this is why I do this every day, because I like to walk and work out, and I want to take good care of my feet. And I really don't want to lose the mobility that my feet provide me. So, and then work your way to your heel. I also make sure I work that inner arch as well. So continue to do this until you feel like, okay, I've worked my way from my toes all the way back to my heel. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So go ahead and just work through those toes, roll it across the toes, really separating them. And roll it over. You want to make sure, again, as we get older, are we able to really point and flex our feet? It's not just for dancers, it's for all of us. We need to be able to do that, especially as we age too. If we have a fall, we want our feet to be able to react. So then go through the ball of your foot and then through the arch. So again, if this is the first time doing it, it may not feel that great. It actually may be a little bit painful. So just kind of work your way, ease your way into it. But I would highly recommend doing this weekly, if not daily, as you get to have a little bit more tolerance for it. And then work your way to that heel. Make sure that you're doing that inner arch as well. Good. So I always take about 5-10 minutes every morning to do this and to work on just breaking up that fascia once again, because it really does go up your soleus, up to your hamstrings, everything. So you can go ahead and move that ball around, and then let's just go ahead and pop those heels up. So one other thing I want you to think about when you do this, so everything is being mindful of what you're doing, is when you're doing this with your foot, watch that heel. Make sure that it's not supinating or pronating, okay? Because then you start to have knee issues. So you really just want to go straight up and straight down. So if that means you can only lift the heel just a little bit as opposed to all the way up, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. You want to be safe. So already, even though we're working on our feet right now, I want you to think about having those shoulders right over top those hips. Pull that chest open, make those collarbones nice and wide. Pull that belly in, take that arch out of the back. Good. Now this time, I want you to go ahead, starting with the knee, rotate. So now we're getting into those hips, right? And this time you will see the foot pronate, come up on those toes, supinate, and then come all the way around. Good. So we're rocking and rolling. Now switch it up. So we always want to go in both directions. Then go ahead and put that foot down. Let's do that on the other side. So really feel, you can start to feel those glutes engaging to move this leg about, and we're moving those hips. So everything we do is sort of a forward motion. So we have to make sure, now the opposite direction, that we are moving our bodies in all planes of motion. Good. And then go ahead and set that foot down. This time we're going to start getting a little bit more advanced by putting some balance into it. So I want you to take your right leg and just bring it up to your kneecap. So already you have to sort of shift that weight, right? So you're going to shift it over that leg, pull that belly in, open up that chest. So don't start to slouch. Everything is about our posture. Now I want you just to rotate, open, swing open that knee, and then swing it closed. Open it out and close it. Good. So already, do you see why we want to warm up our feet? All those little muscles in the feet are engaging to keep us upright, right? Good. I want you to pull that knee away. So from the side, it looks sort of like this. So we were balancing on one leg. We looked a little bit like a flamingo. We bring that leg around. So now I want you to do big hip circles with that leg, okay? So we're going to do those big hip circles. So you have to have those shoulders over those hips in order to stay balanced. Now reverse it. Other direction. Good. Pull up through the crown of your head and then go ahead and set that foot down. So about 3 in each direction. Now let's do that on the other foot. So shift that weight. Don't shift it so that you're pinching that hip by any means. Lift upright and then bring that foot up. Now take that knee out. So you feel those hips open up and swing it shut. Open it out and closed. Good. Out and closed and out and closed. Good. Now lift that foot away and do those big hip circles. Good. Do you feel those, all those muscles of the feet keeping you balanced? And then rotate it in the other direction. So about 3 in each direction. Good. Keep that chest open. Try not to collapse in the core. And then go ahead and put that foot down. Excellent. That was awesome. So now we're going to continue to work on the feet a little bit before we work our way down to the mat. So by breaking up that fascia, we're creating the ability to create a little bit more flexion in the feet. So as we age, we lose this ability to really bend those feet and get that full range of motion. So as we go down into our squat, we push those hips back and we feel the flexion in the front of the foot. Good. And then we squeeze those hips and bring it up. So we go back and up. Now, if you have a tendency to rock your knees in or out, or you're pronating once again, let's place that ball right between our inner thighs. That's going to help us. That's going to be a tactile cue for us. So we go straight down and straight up. Good. And straight down and straight up. So from the side, we're pushing those hips down. We're still pulling that belly in and we lift it straight up. Good. We push that back and lift. And so can you see that I can wiggle my toes because all the weight is in the heels of my feet? That's what I want you to do. Sit it back and stand it up and sit it back and stand it up. So if your feet don't have that same flexibility, maybe you can only come down this far, but as you work on those feet, you'll be able to come all the way down and all the way up. Good. Let's do a couple more here. And one more, we're going to hold it down. Bunch of little pulses here. Little pulses. See how my chest is open. I'm still upright. Push those hips back. We've got 10, 9, 8. We're warming up those glutes. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. Excellent. We're going to take that ball out. We're still in our warm up here. So just set that ball down. I want you to take a big sumo squat here. Toes are laterally rotated, so rotate them out. I want you just to sink down into it. So as we sink down into it, we tuck the hips slightly under. So we take that arch out of the back. That might want to pull our knees in. So pull the knees back over the toes. I want you just to take those hands right on top of the thighs and then just rock side to side. You're opening up the hips once again and that inner thigh stretch. Good. Right and left. Excellent. Then hold it center. I want you to dip that right shoulder forward, rotate, look over that left shoulder. Really get that spinal rotation, come back to center. Dip that left shoulder forward, look over that right shoulder. One more time on the right. And one more time on the left. Good. Now rotate those toes forward and then just fold over here. So as we fold over, you may need to adjust your stance and then come onto my mat for this. So I'll take this forward just a little bit. And so you're in your fold over, toes are pointed directly in front of you. Heels might be a little wider than your toes in this, and I want you to take the crown of your head and look towards your mat. Push those hips back. See if you can get those arms down onto your mat. I want you to lengthen through the spine here, so don't round over, but lengthen through the spine. Good. And I want you to walk that head over to the right. Keep the toes exactly where they are, don't rotate them out. And then walk the hands through center to the left. Take that head towards that knee. So you'll probably feel a back of the leg stretch here. That's perfect. Good. One more time over to the right. Just warming up that body. Be gentle with it. Use that breath. And one more time over to the left. Good. Now this time, come to center. And what I want you to do is to start to bend into that right knee. Keep the chest lifted. And then trying to keep that right heel down. Those left toes are going to pop up. You're going to feel a huge inner thigh stretch here. This is why we worked on those feet too, to try and get that flexion in that foot to keep that heel down. Now you can see my heel can't stay down on this right side. I'm a little bit better on my left side. Keep my chest lifted. It's a nice big stretch here. Then I want you to use your hands, lift yourself up, and then over to your left side. Go ahead, push those hips back. Take those hands off the mat. That right foot's going to come up. So I'm much better on this side. I have more flexion in my foot on this side. These are the things you don't want to lose as you age. And then come back up to center. Good. We're going to rotate our toes to the top, to the right, and to the top of our mat. I want you to come into a runner's lunge here. So lunge into your front foot, keep your back lifted, push through the heel of your back foot. Both hands are on the mat for right now. Feel that stretch. We're gonna go ahead, keep that left hand down. If your right foot is forward, I want you to take your right arm up and look over that shoulder. Feel that spinal rotation. I also feel it in my glute. Bring that hand back to the mat, lower the back knee, uncurl the back toes, and take your hands up to your front knee, your right knee. Good. Now we're getting that hip flexor stretch. So stretch, push forward. Good. We're going to do a little bit different of a stretch too, a little inner thigh stretch. So take both hands back to the mat. And I want you to open up. It's sort of hard to see with my hair and my arm there. Open that right leg out to the side. So just go ahead and press it out there. Both hands come to the inside of the right foot. Oh, it feels so good. And then align that knee back up with that ankle. Go ahead and take the front leg, straighten it out, pull that right hip back so it's in line with the left hip. Those front toes will come up, and once again, you're reaching forward. So we're not just bending over, but we're reaching through the core and the spine. So you feel a big hamstring stretch here. Feels really good. Excellent. Then we're going to place those toes down. We're going to walk our foot over to the other side of the mat and start to bend that knee. We're coming into our pigeon pose if you do yoga. So I tuck that heel kind of right underneath of that hip bone. And then once I get here, I always like to rock and kind of loosen it up a little bit. And then I just reach forward and lower down over that leg. Oh, it feels so good on the glute. Relax the shoulders. Good, really straighten it out. Feels so good, you'll feel that glute release. And then go ahead and walk those hands back up. And then just curl those back toes under. Take that back foot and just place it with that next to that other knee. From here, we're going to take that cat-cow stretch, just to stretch out our spine before we do the other side. So taking those hands right underneath those shoulders and those knees right underneath those hips. So normally you might kind of be in this position. I want you to pull the belly up to flatten out the back. Take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale as you scoop everything up for your angry cat. Take your eyes towards your thighs, round up through the back. Inhale, press the hips back, lower the belly, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Ooh, feel that big extension through the core. And then exhale, round it back up. Inhale, take that extension. Good, come back to your neutral spine and just wag the hips right and left. Getting that little side flexion. So we are moving in every plane. Good. Then we are going to go ahead and just rotate to that other side. We are going to step our left foot forward this time. We're going to take that right foot long behind us. So we first come into our runner's lunge. That knee is right over top of that ankle. So you have them lined up here. You have your core lengthened, your back nice and straight. We're going to keep our right hand down this time and rotate over to the left. So take that left arm up, look over that left shoulder. Ooh, feel that glute stretch and feel that spinal rotation. Good, bring that hand back down, lower that back knee, uncurl those back toes, and then walk both hands up. Adjust yourself if you need to, so you get that hip flexor stretch. Feels really good here. And then take both hands on the inside of that left foot. And this time you're going to press that left knee out to the side. So you press it out, you get a little inner thigh stretch here. It feels really good. And then bring that knee back in line with that ankle. And then go ahead and pull those hips back, square them off. Those left toes pop up. And then you reach forward, getting that hamstring and calf stretch on the left side. Feels really good. Then go ahead, place those toes down, walk that foot across the mat so you can come into your pigeon pose here. So once again, we can walk those hands out if it feels good and just lower that upper body. Again, I always rock a little side to side, just giving it a little bit of a massage there where we get into some heavy glute work. And then go ahead and walk those hands back. And then just bend that back leg and you're in your mermaid seated position. So we're just in our mermaid seated position. We've come all the way down. We're going to do a little side stretch here, and then we're going to start in on some glute work. So go ahead, take that left hand down on the mat. Your left knee is forward here. If this seated position doesn't work for you, you can always take your legs out in front of you, or you can sit crisscross. So take that hand down. I want you to take your right arm up, pull that right shoulder down. So don't take it up to your ear, pull it down. And then I want you to lengthen first and then side bend over. Imagining that you're between those two panes of glass and then come on up. Good. We're going to do that on the other side. So now the left side body opens, the right side body contracts. Good. And of course, we have to just spin those legs around so we can do it on the other side. So this time we take that right hand down, left arm comes up, shoulder comes down, we side bend it over. And then we take the left arm down, right arm comes up and side bends over. Good. And we place both hands down. We're going to grab that ball or that prop, any prop that you have, So again, a small like decorative pillow, a bath towel rolled up, or your Pilates ball works great. So we're going to start with some abs. We're going to start in our earthquake series. So what we want to do is just wedge that ball right behind that tailbone. Knees are going to be bent. You're going to be sitting up nice and tall right on those sits bones. So everything we do is about our posture in Pilates. So pull those shoulders back, pull that belly in. So sometimes when we sit up tall, we tend to let the belly come out. Pull that belly in. Good. So I want you to take an inhale. On your exhale, I want you to roll off the sits bones, pulling the belly button back, just to the point where you feel those abs engaged. And then inhale, restack that spine. Right back on top of those sits bones. Exhale, pull that belly in, roll it back. That ball is there as a tactile cue for those that low lumbar spine. So you exhale as you contract, inhale as you come back up. Good. So maybe each time you're going down just a little bit further. The arms don't have to be fully extended. Next one, we're going to hold it back. So just to the point where you feel those abs are engaged, you're pulling that belly in so it's not doming out, okay? So pull it in. I want you to let go with the right and let go with the left. Good. We're just going to pulse it up here. So when you pulse, I don't want you just to keep rocking. I want you to think about up 1 inch, back 1 inch, up 1 inch, back 1 inch. Take your time. Pull the shoulders back. So whenever our arms are in front of us, we have a tendency to let the shoulders round forward. That's going to collapse in the core as well. So bring the shoulders back. Lift out of the core. Good. You've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Slow, deliberate movements today. 3, 2. Hold it back here. I want you to open those arms out to the side. You should feel some quaking. I've got a lot of quaking going on. That's why it's called our earthquake series. We're going to open it out. Reach long through those arms. Good. And close it up. Now, this could be easy if you just let those arms fly out to the side and fly back together. But I want you to think about you're pushing them through cement and you're pulling them back together. Good. We've got 4. And close. And 3. And close. And 2. And close. Last one. Close. Roll all the way up and over. You splay open those knees and you round over, giving the back just a little bit of a break. Whew. Good job. We're going to add on, of course, so restack that spine. Just make sure that that prop is wedged right behind there. Close up those legs a little bit so they're about a fist width distance apart between my 2 knees. And then pull those shoulders back. We're going to go ahead and round off those sits bones, pulling that belly button to the spine once again. We're going to go ahead, let go with the right, let go with the left, and pull those shoulders back. This time, we're going to sweep that left arm around and reach back and rotate, and then come right back up on top of those sits bones. Sweep it back as you roll off the sits bones. Stretch that arm back, follow it with your gaze, and restack. Good. So we're getting those internal and external obliques working. That ball is there to help protect that spine. You absolutely don't need it, but it is helpful. Good. You got it. Side to side. We're going to do 2 more sets here. We've got 2 and 2 and last one. Good. You restack that spine and come off of those sits bones, pull those shoulder blades back. Right arm comes up right next to your ear and down and left, working on that shoulder mobility while working the core. Alternating side to side. Take a little glance at yourself. Is your arm coming up next to your ear or is it stopping somewhere here? Really challenge yourself. Pull those abs in. One more on the right. And one more on the left. Hold it here for a count of 10, 9, pull that belly in, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, round it all the way up. Open up those knees, round through that back, and just breathe. Excellent. Good, we're gonna take that ball out from underneath that tailbone. Take those legs long, flex those feet, and maybe take them as wide as your mat this time. Come up right on top of your butt bones, your sits bones there. Sometimes you have to move the cheek meat out of the way. And then if your hip flexors are tight or you're a runner, you're probably gonna wanna pop a little bend in your knee just to turn the hip flexors off because you don't want them on fire. It's not necessarily a hip flexor exercise. I want you to flex your feet. We're gonna work on spinal rotation here. When we work on spinal rotation, what we're looking for is to see if the feet shift at all as we turn. If our feet are shifting, that means our hips are shifting. So we're actually rotating through the hips and not necessarily the waistline. So that's what you want to work for. You want to pretend that these feet, and if you can do it up against a wall, that's even better, but that those feet are up against a wall. When we flex, one more thing to point out, a lot of times people will flex at the toes and they think they're flexing their feet. They're just flexing their toes back. I want you to flex your entire foot back from the ankle and the right here. So that's why we continue to work on our feet, right? And warming up our feet. We can flex our toes, but can we flex at the foot itself? So we point and flex a lot of times working on that flexion. Okay. So anyway, flex those feet, keep them still. Take that ball, take those elbows out, fingertips are pointed out. We're gonna get those pecs warmed up. Pulse in on that ball. Now again, when I say pulse, what I really mean is squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Good. We've got 6. Pull up through the crown of your head. 4. Sit right on top of those sits bones. So don't lean back and don't just lean forward. Sit up nice and tall. 3, 2, and 1. Take those arms out in front of you. Fingertips are pointed forward. So as you can see, I was leaning back a little bit. I just need to sit up a little bit taller on those sits bones. Now, what did I say about the shoulders? Pull the shoulders back. Excellent. I want you to grab the ball in the right hand. Left hand is going to stay right where it is. Feet are flexed. I want you to rotate, following it with your gaze, keeping those feet completely still, staying up on those sits bones, not leaning back. Rotate through the core. And then close it up. Switch hands. Inhale as you rotate, keeping those feet absolutely still. Pull up through the core. Exhale as you come back to center. Good. We're going to do that 2 more times on each side. Inhale. Lean a little bit forward. Again, if you need to put a little bend in those knees, the hip flexors are tight. Totally fine. Switch hands. So good. We're going to do 1 more. Spinal rotation, so important. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Good, go ahead and lower those arms. That was so good. So now bring those feet a little bit together. We're gonna do a roll down. So just go ahead and take those hands with the ball right in front of you. Lift up. Now, take an inhale. Exhale, roll off the sits bones by pulling the belly in and then slowly going down 1 vertebrae at a time. Try to push each vertebrae individually into your mat. Arms come up towards the ceiling and then take them back. So you're gonna feel that rib cage splay open most likely. And maybe the back arch just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and do 1 full roll up here. We're gonna take an inhale, bringing our arms up towards the ceiling on that inhale. Now, once again, pull those shoulder blades back, poke them into your mat. So take that inhale. Exhale, nod the chin to the chest, scoop the belly in, roll all the way up and forward towards those feet. Keep the head right between the arms. Take an inhale here. Exhale, roll it all the way down. Good, finding each vertebrae. That is an excellent exercise to do to warm up the spine. Okay, let's go ahead and just place our ball right next to us for a second here. I want you to point and flex those feet. So I'm big on feet. Point and flex. Now rotate those ankles around. Rotate them around. Can you get the outer edges of the feet to sweep the floor and then reverse it? So you are internally rotated and then you externally rotate. Feel the legs actually as they rotate with those feet. And then go ahead and just place those feet back to center. All right, my ball's going to be in the way here. But what we're going to do is just work on our shoulders real quick, and then we're going to go into some glute work. So I want you to take your hands down by your side. Palms are facing up. Close up the rib cage. So if it's splayed open right now, the rib cage is nice and wide. I want you to close it up. So as you close it up, sometimes we have a tendency to roll those shoulders forward. Keep the chest open, close the rib cage. You're going to feel the abs engaged. I want you to go ahead and take those arms. Again, I'm going to move this because it's in my way. You're going to take those arms and just sweep them up, keeping the fingers in touch with the ground. And then maybe start to feel where the rib cage splays. Mine starts to splay right here. So maybe I have some shoulder tightness here. And then can you take them all the way back? So we're asking the shoulders to rotate in the shoulder socket and then sweep them down. Good. Let's do that again. Sweep them up. Can you keep the rib cage closed? Can you keep the back from arching? And sweep them down. Now, if you need to go slower, feel free to go slower. Working on that shoulder mobility. We're always on our devices, so we're constantly rolling our shoulders forward. I want you to hold them out to a T. From here, I just want you to bend at the elbows so your arms come into that goalpost position. We're going to work a little bit on that rotator. So having the arms up in that goalpost position, I want you just to flip them over. See where the shoulders start to roll forward, especially for me. This is something I'm always working on. And then flip them back up. Flip them down and flip them back up. Good. Two more. Down and up and down and up. Excellent. Then go ahead and take those arms out to the side and just bring them down. Good job. We're going to go ahead and work on some glutes now. So it's so important to have strong hamstrings and glutes. So we always, a lot of times, have really strong thighs because, again, everything we do is sort of forward motion. But sometimes if our hamstrings are weak or our glutes are weak, it just makes life a lot harder. You can get some back pain. You can feel like your glutes are not, or your abs are not engaging that core, which is really your powerhouse. So take that ball or that prop. And we're going to put it right between our inner thighs. We're going to bend our knees and then just keep our feet flat on the ground. So close up the rib cage. You're in a neutral spine. So for me, I have a pretty big arch in my back. I can place those hands right in my natural arch. That's what a neutral spine is. It's just your natural spine. Take your hands down by your side. Your palms can be up or down. I have mine up so that it rolls my shoulders back. I want you to start squeezing in on that ball. So finding the connection with the ball and the inner thighs. Now I did a lot of inner thighs yesterday, so my thighs are actually shaking somewhat uncontrollably right now. I hope you can't see that. We've got 10, 9, 8, 7, really squeezing. You're trying to flatten it. 5, 4, 3, 2. You're going to keep that slight engagement on that ball. We're going to start with some pelvic tilts here. So all I want you to do is take an inhale through your nose. Exhale. I just want you to push your spine down flat. That's going to tip that pelvis up towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, I want you to tip it back. So you get that arch in your back again. So exhale, tip it forward like you're contracting it. Inhale, tip it back. So it's a small move. You probably have trouble seeing it on me.
but you haven't lifted anything off your mat yet. You're just doing your pelvic tilts. You're getting that low lumbar spine, the area of your spine that takes so much weight. You're getting it warmed up right now. Okay, let's do 2 more. And last one, then come back to that neutral spine. So tailbone's heavy, you've got your natural arch. We're going to go into our bridging now. So we still have that engagement on that ball. My inner thighs are still shaky. Let's go ahead, take an inhale. Exhale, start with that rock forward of the pelvis. So you tip it forward. This time I want you to place the weight in the heels of the feet and begin lifting the tailbone up. The knees start stretching towards the toes, lengthening out the thighs. And then the abs are engaged. You stop at your shoulder bridge. Your glutes are squeezing tight. I want you to take an inhale. Exhale, soften the chest first. We're rolling down in the reverse order. Keep the hips as high as you can for as long as you can. Feel each vertebrae as you roll down. Good, let's continue with that move. I'm going to tell you a couple of things to think about. So inhale and exhale. So you've got this squeeze on the ball that's helping to keep your knees tracking towards your feet. As you lengthen out your thighs, you should be able to roll a marble from your knee through your hip down to your shoulder. You've got this nice diagonal line. You squeeze at the top. You inhale. You exhale, soften the chest and roll it down. Trying not to rush, trying to feel each vertebrae one at a time. That's why we did those pelvic tilts. That's also why we did those roll-ups. And good. On your next one, I want you to hold it at the top. And so you find that high bridge, relax the shoulders, keep the chest open, engage the abs, pull them in. And then I want you to squeeze it up and up. So it's a little movement. Think about the up movement as opposed to releasing. Each time I want you to try and think about going higher, higher, higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze it. Now squeeze in on that ball. In. Flatten it even more. 4, 5. Don't lower. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take that inhale. Exhale. Soften the chest. Roll it all the way down. Nice and slow and in control. Don't rush it. And then go ahead and take that ball out. Woo, those thighs. And then bring those knees to your chest and just rock side to side. Good. So we're going to do a little bit of work on, we're going to do one more series for our glute max, and then we're going to do a bridge for our glute meats, the sides of our legs. Okay. And so I want you to bring those legs a little closer. So those heels are a little closer to your butt. Okay. And then we're going to hinge up. So we've been articulating vertebrae by vertebrae up. This time we're going to pop up as one unit. So take that inhale, exhale, go ahead and lift. You lift up into that high bridge. Good. Now I want you to tap down and lift right back up. Good. So we don't have the ball in there. So just make sure those knees are driving towards those toes. You squeeze it up. So as you can see, my toes have no weight in them. Everything is in the heels. You've got to find the connection, not in the thighs, but in the glutes and the hamstrings as you lift. Having strong glutes is so important. It's what gets you on chairs, couches. It's so important. Hold this next one up. I want you to lift those heels up and lower them. Don't lower the glutes. Lift, lower the heels, but the glutes stay high. Lift and lower. Good. Again. Working on those feet. 6, squeeze. 5, lengthen through those thighs. 4, 3, squeeze it. 2, last one. Take that inhale. Exhale, articulate the spine all the way down, softening the chest, one vertebrae at a time, rounding, keeping the hips up until the very last vertebrae comes down in the tailbone chest. This time, take those feet wide. This is the last bridge series, I promise. You take the feet as wide as your mat and just point those toes out. So laterally rotate them. Your knees are naturally going to splay open. That's what we want. You have a neutral spine right now. So a little arch. Once again, I have the arch in my back. My tailbone is heavy. My chest is open. Shoulders are relaxed. Take that inhale. Exhale, start to tip the pelvis up towards the ceiling, imprinting the spine before peeling each vertebrae off the mat. You should fairly quickly feel it right in the glute med, right here, that dimple in the side of your legs. Hopefully we still have them. All right, from here, we're gonna pulse it up and up. Notice I don't say down because I want you to think about going higher each time. You're not past your shoulder bridge, nowhere near your cervical spine. Pulse it up and up. We've got 4, 3, 2, hold it at the top. Now I want you to try and push those knees back and back. Don't let the hips come down though. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last thing. We're going to come halfway down and squeeze it up. Halfway down and squeeze. We've got 5 and 4 and 3, 2, and last 1. Take that inhale at the top. Exhale, soften the chest. Roll it all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Woo, once that tailbone taps, bring those knees in towards the chest like a happy baby rock, side to side. Good. Let's go ahead and stretch out these glutes a little bit, releasing them. Take the right leg over the left knee, flex that right foot, and then open up that right knee first. So opening up the hips. So if it feels good, just reach behind that left thigh. Keep the shoulders back and pull the legs towards the chest. It's going to release that right glute, allowing it to extend after all of that contraction. Holding it here. I hold it for about 10 seconds or so. If you need to hold it longer, hold it longer. With each exhale, you might feel it come a little closer to the body. Now, just set that left foot down. Don't uncross that leg yet. I'm going to have you just let the knees fall over to the left side of the body. That right shoulder is going to stay down. So if you want to open your arms out to a T, we're getting that spinal rotation once again. Think about with that right foot trying to pull that left knee up and that left knee trying to push that right foot down. So the knees come towards the mat. You've got a big spinal rotation here. And then we're going to engage the abs to bring the legs through center and let them fall to the other side. Good. This time, that left knee is trying to push up on that right foot, and the right foot is trying to bring the left knee down. Good. Such a good stretch through the core, through the back. Bring those legs up through center using those abs. Uncross that right foot. Let's cross that left foot over. So first, open up that knee. So this is easy. This feels a nice big opening of the hips. Flex the left foot. Bring the shoulders back so you don't round. And then if it feels good, just reach behind that right thigh. Bring those legs a little closer to the chest. Use those biceps, keeping the shoulders pulling back. And with that exhale, do you feel them come a little closer to the chest? Feels so good to release the glute. Then let's place that right foot on the mat and let's let those legs fall over to the right first. So we keep that left shoulder down. We get that nice rotation through the low spine. And once again, you feel a little inner thigh engagement as that left foot tries to keep the right knee from going down, and the right knee is trying to, push in opposition against that left foot. Now use those glutes, or excuse me, that core, bring it through center and let it fall over to the left side. This time, that left foot is trying to push that right knee down, and that right knee is trying to pull it up. Right shoulder stays down. It feels so good. Good, excellent. So let's go ahead and take that right knee in towards the body. Just pull that right knee in. You feel a little hip flexor stretch there once again. We're going to add on to this, getting a few additional core exercises in. Now bring that left knee in. Right leg just points. It really reaches long. You feel a little hip flexor stretch there. Okay, let's bring that right knee in. And let's keep the left leg hovering over the mat, just a few inches this time. So now our feet are off the mat, so we have to imprint that spine, meaning flatten it out on the mat. If you're having trouble doing that, you will need to raise this left leg to do that. Now switch. So this is our single leg stretch. We're just switching side to side. So we inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. So it goes. Good. We're going to add on to this. So we're going to lift our head, neck, and shoulders next time the right leg is in. We lift it up. We're lifting from the core. Okay. So again, we switch and switch and switch. Good. So we try to lift the chest. Back is imprinted. Next time the right leg's in, we're going to hold it here. We're going to take those hands behind the head and rotate left elbow to right knee and switch and switch and switch. Good. Last one. Bring both knees to both elbows and then stretch everything long. Woo, good job. Good. We're going to roll over onto our bellies and do a little bit of back work. Okay. So, having ourselves on our belly, we're going to take our feet and open them up as wide as our mat. Our hands are going to come right next to our shoulders. So already, I want you to think about grounding that pubic bone in the mat by pulling the belly up. So you pull the belly up like you have a grape underneath there and you don't want to squish it. Your head is just hovering over the mat. First, we're just going to do a little bit of a core stretch here. We're going to do our swan. So a baby swan looks a little bit like this. We take that inhale, we reach forward, and then we exhale down. We lift up and down. Good, 2 more. Relax those shoulders down, last one. Good. Now, we're going to go ahead and lift that right leg up, lifting from the thigh and then lower it. So sometimes people lift from the back of the kneecap. I want you to put maybe a little micro bend, and you can bring those arms in front of you and stack them so you have a place to rest your head. I want you to think about, I'm pulling from your toes away from the body. So we're going to alternate side to side. Good. I want your forehead to be looking down. I'm looking towards you, but your forehead will be right on top of those stacked hands. Relax the shoulders. Good. Right and left here. Right and left. One more time. Right. Pull that belly in and left. Now I want you to lift both legs at the same time. You lift and lower. Do you feel that contraction in the glutes and the hamstrings? Woo. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Good. So go ahead and unstack those hands. Bring them out to a goalpost position. Hover the head, neck, and the shoulders here. We're going to work on the upper body now. Feet are still as wide as your mat and laterally rotated. Belly is pulling in. I want you to lift the core from the core and then lower. So you're lifting the upper body this time. Lift and lower. 4 more. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. 2 more. Lift and lower and lift and lower. Good. Take those hands and take those elbows up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and just hover the upper body from like the shoulders up off of your mat. I want you to turn your head towards the left and try to dip that right shoulder down. And then come back to center. Look to the right, dip that left shoulder down. Good. One more time. So if this is a little painful, you're probably a little tight through the chest and shoulders. And we need to work on that shoulder mobility. Good. And then back to center. Go ahead, take those hands right next to those arms or shoulders once again. And we're going to do a full swan this time. So we're going to take that inhale and lift up. And then exhale, lower it all the way down. Try to pull the shoulders down. We're going to do 2 more. Lift it up and lower. On this next one, we're going to lift up into our swan. Start to bend the knees and push the hips back. The soles of the feet come together. You walk those hands back into your child's pose. Good. So you hold. Good, so you hold that child's pose, letting those hips release onto those heels. And then we're going to go ahead and walk our hands over to the left. We're going to take the right hand a little longer and stretch, but not pull the shoulder up. And then I want you to try and push that right hip down on that right heel. You're opening up that entire right side body. Breathe into that side. Good. Feels so good to lengthen. Walk those hands through center over to the right side. Take the left hand a little longer, or you can always cross it over and pull away from that hand, trying to get that left hip down on that left heel. Breathe into that left side body. Feels so good. Excellent. Then come through center. We're going to go ahead and round up and then drop the hips forward. You may need to adjust the hands ever so slightly. So we're going to do a set of push-ups here. So I'm going to do mine on my knees. Please feel free to do them on your toes. We're going to push our hips forward, pulling our belly in, making sure that our shoulders are right over top our wrists. Spread your fingers wide and lift up so that you're not sagging into your shoulders. We're going to go down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Go ahead and sit it back into child's pose. Good, we're almost through it. We've got one more set and we'll make our way back up to standing. We worked through the whole body today. Let's go ahead and round ourselves back up. We're going to push those hips forward, pull that belly in. I'm going to stay on my knees. Please do your toes. That works better for you. Spread those fingers wide. Let's go ahead. We've got 10, 9, don't drop the head, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4, 3, 2, and last one. Go ahead and push back into child's pose. Excellent. We're going to take those hands into a prayer position and then just fold our prayer over top of our head. Walk those elbows out, stretching out those triceps. Go ahead and lengthen those arms. Walk those hands back. We're going to curl those toes under, and then we're going to shift the weight so that it comes over the soles of our feet. Foot flexion once again. Walk those hands back, and then lift those hips up towards the ceiling. Hang heavy here, crown of your head, looking towards your mat. Take that big inhale. Exhale, let's start to restack that spine. Rolling those shoulders back, restacking that spine, one vertebrae on top of the other, up against that imaginary wall. Good. Roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. One more, up, back, and down. Good. Nod that chin to the chest. Stretch out the back of the neck there. And then go ahead, look center. One more time, nod the chin to the chest. Pull the belly in, now time for it to relax. And then center. Look over to your right. Try to look over that right shoulder. Keep that left shoulder back. And then over to your left. Keep your right shoulder back. Good. One more time, over to your right. And gentle with the neck, over to the left. Good. Come back to center. One last neck stretch here. Over to your right, this time right ear, right shoulder. Don't pull it up. Let it come down to that shoulder, keeping the shoulders on the same plane. Gently bring it up through center and lower it to the left side. Feels so good. And then go ahead, slowly lift it up. That was really good, everyone. We're going to take a big inhale up. Exhale it all out. Thank you so much for joining me for that mat class. I think I ran a little over, but there were so many things that I wanted to put in there. I'll try and add some additional ones. I hope you really enjoyed it. Also check out the other videos on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And if you ever want to join a live class with me, please visit my website at www.bodiesbypilates.net, and you can sign up for a class that way. Thanks and have a great day.